The second truth this morning is, the revelation number 2 is, discover the truth and the truth will set you free. And you guys are going to be like me. You've heard of all of these before. But when we look at them in a little different light, sometimes God reveals us different things that we may not have seen the first time. So the second one is, discover the truth and it will set you free. How many of you have seen the Geico commercial with Abraham Lincoln? And Abraham Lincoln comes out and his wife, is there in her garb, and she says, "Honey, do you think I look fat in this?" is her question to him. And he's sitting there and he says, "I cannot tell a lie." He doesn't answer the question. He just says, "I cannot tell a lie." And I don't know if that set Abe free. It may have set his wife free on him. But I know whenever we talk about truth, we are responsible for finding the truth that God has given us. I want to read a verse of Scripture in John 8:32. And it says specifically, "And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." The problem is, sometimes the truth is hard to find. Sometimes when we find it, we don't really like it. Sometimes it's difficult to swallow. Sometimes it's complex and hard to share with other people. There are a lot of conversations that are difficult conversations, especially in my line of work, that must be done. Whether you like it or not, you're going to have those conversations and find a way to share what you have to share with people that may help them get to a different point in their lives, that may keep them from going somewhere where they don't need to go. But sometimes the truth is there to get us out of where we don't need to be. But the truth is something that we have to find, and we have to be honest with ourselves. And I'm not going to forget y'all. I know you're back here, so I'll turn around and make a little eye contact with y'all as well. You're bright today, Marvin. You look good back there, though, so I know it. They got you here. I had some sunglasses in my truck. I started to go get them and bring them to you, but we'll get that worked on too. But the truth is always there. The truth is always around us. The problem is sometimes it's difficult to find. Sometimes it's not so evident. And sometimes when we find the truth, in order not to hurt people or in order not maybe to maybe do the things that we kind of want to do, sometimes we kind of twist it up a little bit. And we see if we can make it into something where we can maybe go down a different avenue that God may not have us to go through and convince ourselves that maybe this is the truth. But God's truth is always there. It's always evident. And if we follow God's truth, He always has our best interest in mind. Always has our best interest in mind. Knowing the truth is great, but it's what we do with the truth that's really where the rubber hits the road. Because if we know truth or if we know facts and we don't do anything about it, then knowing the truth really does us no good at all. How many of you know which floor that hotels always leave out? What floor do they always leave out? The 13th floor. So you've fallen into the misconception that I have. That hotel has a 13th floor. I mean, I hate to share it with you. It has a 13th floor. After number 12, which one's next? Guarantee it's the 13th one. Now, they skip it on the elevator and put 14 to try to convince you that it's not there. But that hotel has a 13th floor. And I didn't even think about it until I read this book, that, it does have a 13th floor, and it's there. But because of the fear that people have about the unlucky number 13, they leave it out and they go on to the 14th floor. But that 13th floor is there. And that's the truth of the matter. And sometimes when we look at things kind of in that light. We try to convince ourselves it may not be the fact when definitely it is. And when we look at truth, we have to look at a few things. We have to look at the validity and strength of what you believe is of utmost importance. See, there are a few things in our lives that have to be non-negotiable. They have to be things that we know are truth, and no matter what comes, no matter what is said, no matter what somebody tries to get me off of my truth, this is the truth, and I'm standing here, and I'm not budging off of it. And there are things in life that are of that nature, and we have to remember those, and we have to do those. But knowing the truth and standing on the truth means that we have a personal responsibility to act on it. When we know something is wrong or when we know something is not the way it should be, it is our responsibility as Christians to act on those things. And maybe our responsibility just in the position that we're in or where we are to act on those things. But we have an obligation that when we know something is not right and something that needs to be done, God has given us the wisdom to know those things, and we have to act on those things. And also, we have to be willing to act and willing to accept those things. And we have to also be willing to know and share our plan on those things. You know, a lot of ideas that people have in life don't come to fruition because they don't share those plans with other people and share those things. The Xerox copy machine was an idea that didn't come to fruition until about 10 years after the idea was thought of in somebody else's mind, because he didn't think it would work. He was scared to share it with anybody and didn't think it would work. Now, I don't know how people live and work without copy machines. If you're a teacher nowadays and you don't have a copy machine, you think your world's coming to an end whenever that thing breaks down. So that is something that people need. So we have to know and we have to share our plans. So discovering the truth and knowing the truth and sticking to the truth is one of those things in our lives that will set us free if we're able to do that. So that revelation will take us further in life if we're able to do that.